Hi everybody, this is Lynn from Creative Concept Crafts with this week's cute little file, our rocking horse rocker card. It's a little bit away from my normal. I've done a blue one for a little boy and we're going to be making the same thing up in pink, but of course you could do yellow or other colours as well. Depends on which way or what the baby is, or indeed if it's a little toddler. The pieces have all been cut ready to go. So we've got the base card, that's a little card, so it's about 270 gram. This is the part of the rosette, which is paper, and that's 100 gram that I've used there. And we have a support again with the little to stop the rocker from splaying. There's the 3 little balloons, which I've put wire on the back of the balloon. Now, I didn't want anything thicker than that in the cardstock, but it needed support to be able to stick up. So I've just added a piece of wire to the back, and I'll be showing you how to do the third one of that. And there's the pieces for the horse. It's more like a vinyl inlay rather than decoupage is this one, but I'll show you how to add as we're going. I've selected all the pieces by colour in the file, and I think I've labelled them for the horse body, the mane, the rocker and saddle, so it's easy enough for you to follow and be able to pick your card stock. So I'm just starting off adding some hot glue to the tail of the balloon, and I've just used a fine wire here, and it's a little bit tricky to add because that glue's hot. It's a matter of tapping down and getting out of there quick. Don't worry if it dries before you get there, you can always add a little bit more. So it's just a matter of pressing down into the wet glue, and don't worry if it overspills, you can cut it away afterwards. See, that didn't quite get to the bottom, so I'm just going to add an extra little bit. You could maybe do it in 2 halves if you're not confident doing it all the way down. But it's just sufficient to support the layers of the balloon. There's the base and 2 mats here, and I've actually drawn the sentiments on here on the scan and cut. Welcome to the world, little one. And I've got name, date of birth, height and weight, which you can either leave as is, or you can ungroup and add the actual details of the baby. And the other one is happy birthday. You can delete the text and add your own. You can add maybe a number if it's a birthday for a little one. So there's quite a bit of versatility there. Starting off now, doing the concertina for the second part of the rosette. So it's scored every 1/2 inch, and I'm just folding over. I find it easier to flip to keep the lines straight as you go. So just flipping back and forward all the way down to the bottom of the piece of paper. And like I said, this is paper, it's not card. Don't try and do it in card, it will be too stiff, because by the time this is pulled together and glued, it really is quite stiff. Concertina paper is actually very, very strong. So almost there. And you'll find when you get to the bottom that you've got one part that faces up and another part face down. I'm just turning over, flipping and just burnishing down so you get a real good concertina. So we've got one that goes up and one that goes down from one end to the other. The up bit goes into the down, so just put some glue into one of those seams, just from a score line to the edge, so just 1/2 inch. And then just add the other piece, tucking into the seam. And once you've burnished that down, just fold it back in and fold the crease back. And that's half of the rosette. Now we just have to repeat the same thing at the other end, and again you've got an up fold and a down fold, so a mountain and a valley, and we're just gluing one side and inlaying one into the other. So match it up top and bottom, and once you're happy just burnish it down and then just fold those creases back in. So now you've got a complete circle. Okay, and now we need to add the circles to complete the rosette. So all you're going to do is just take hold and just pull out at the edges and just pop it down on your table. You'll need some weight at this stage because it'll keep popping up, so I just put my glue there until I've done the hot glue on the little circle. And still keeping the weight there until you get the circle down, and just push down. And we're going to repeat on the other side. Just flip over, again add in the hot glue, and push down into position. So that's the rosette complete. I love rosettes. I think they just add so much to a card. Apart from the dimension, I just think I love concertina anyway. I like pleating in fabric as well. Okay, so now we need to add the rosette to the base of the rocker. And if you look, it's roughly halfway. So what we're going to do is add the hot glue to half of the circle and just down the ribs of the rosette. So about halfway down on the rib. I'm just adding the hot glue to each of those ribs across and round to the halfway mark. I'm going to lay that down, and then I can align the base and I can see where it's going. So I can get it into the centre from the edges and just pop it down. Just press down for a couple of minutes just till it grips. So there's our base card done. Now at this stage you could actually use this for anything. You could add flowers to it, you could add a picture in the centre, you could do it for a birthday for an adult. It could be for anything, and I think I'm actually going to do one with flowers because I think it would be really, really pretty for a birthday card. So this is the little support for the easel, for the rocker, so it doesn't splay. It's a 2-inch piece of cardstock, about 1 inch wide, and I've added red liner tape to both outer edges and just pop it about 1 inch down and in the centre, and just again a little bit of burnishing down. You can burnish one side but not so easily on the other, so just push it down as hard as you can with your finger. So that's not going to go anywhere. Okay. And now we're ready to start on the rocking horse. So like I said, it's not a traditional, it's more like a vinyl inlay rather than a decoupage. And I've created a mat with the base card. And so all these pieces, there'll just be a tiny edge of the pink showing once you've laid them in, just along the outer edges. And I've just laid the pieces where they live. I'll have to remove some of them once we get nearer, but I find if you start with the rocker at the bottom, do the horse body, the back and the front legs, and then put the saddle in, and from there all the head pieces and the main pieces will fit. Okay, so if you don't do it that way, it's a little bit more difficult to get the head and the main pieces and the face pieces into position, because they all butt up tight to one another as you go. I'm speeding the video up here because I'm just literally just laying these in, and butt up tight to the other pieces of inlay. I'm going to have to move the pieces out of the way to get the bridle in position there, and then you'll find that all the other pieces lay in nice and smoothly from there. I'm doing all the silver pieces, the face and the head, before I move on to the mane. There's the mane and the nose, and the little fringe, the tail, and there's a little tiny piece that fits in there. So I think you can see we've just got its eye to do now. And there's actually two little black pieces. One is the eye where there's a hole for it. The other one is just a little piece of decoupage, and it is tiny, that goes onto the bridle. Okay, so there's his eye. And this really is tiny. I had to wet my finger to pick it up, it's so small. But it does add. So there we go. So that's all the inlay piece finished. So our little rocking horse is complete. So now we're ready to add that to the card. Now it's entirely up to you where you want to position it against the rosette. You can do it down at the bottom, you can do it in the middle. I've done it in the middle, and you could actually, if you wanted to, maybe add a flower over the circle. So I'm actually leaving the whole circle, I think, on this one. You just need to add hot glue onto the rocker, apart from the outer bit, so between the horse's leg and on the centre part of the body, and then that will stick nicely to the rosette. Get rid of all the strings. You could probably go a little bit further with embellishment here if you wanted to. Maybe with flowers, ribbon, maybe, gems. If you wanted to put some detailing on the rocker and the saddle so it looks like it's stitched. So all we need to add now to finish off is the balloons. Now, as I said, I've prepared the mats and layers here. I'm going to put Welcome to the World Little One in the centre. You need to get a balance with a rocker so that it doesn't tip over and sit one way or the other. So if you do the centre one first, I'm just cutting off the excess glue. If you remember, I had to do a second glue in just at the bottom, so just cut away the hot glue, and I'm just trimming the base, and there's a little bit of extending wire. So Welcome to the World Little One's going to go into the centre, and the text I've used is Hatterline. I believe it is a free font from Da Font. So if you're wanting to alter any of this text, it's only grouped with the balloon mat. So if you ungroup it, then you'll be able to edit the text to whatever you wanted. I've just given you this to sort of give you a starter. So I'm just deciding now where I want to place the balloon. So I'm going to actually just sit it at the back. Again, it's up to you how high or low, whether you want them all the same height, whether you want them all up, one off to one side, one off to the other, one in the centre. Just play about with it until you get your balance, but you just need to add glue on the rib of the rosette and the centre of the circle. Just a little bit of hot glue, and again just pop that into position where you want it. You can always, because it's on wire, you can bend these a little bit to get them where you need them to be to get the balance. So don't worry if it's not quite right, you can adjust it from the extension piece at the top. So there's our first piece, just trying to get rid of all the glue stuck on my fingers. And I'm just accelerating the speed of the video because I'm just repeating the same thing now with the other two. I obviously wouldn't have happy birthday and welcome to the world little one on the same card. This was just for you to see just the shape and the balance of the rocker card. So again, just holding, getting rid of all the glue bits I'm trailing. There's our rocker card completed, and as ever I always do a matching box, and it is quite a big one is this, with the balloons sticking out at the top. It's 11 3/4 inches square. So there's our cute little rocking horse rocker card and box. Hope you've enjoyed this design. That's all for now. Until the next time, bye for now. Thank you.